Well, hi folks, another trading setup hopefully by me, a Stratman from pipware.com, and what I'm seeing here is my M15 chart on the Euro JPY, and here we go. And down on the dashboard, let's just check out what's going on. We've only really done 18 pips for the day so far. Hong Kong's about to open in about 25 minutes. But what I'm looking at is even though we haven't done 40 pips yet, this is a time that I would consider breaking that rule. We've got my longer term moving average and my shorter term moving average, which is this one here. Here is the compass. I don't mean to confuse you by showing it in white, but basically I've just coloured it the same as what Craig Harris uses on his chart. So I've got my longer term moving average, my shorter term moving average. Price is on the same side of both averages. Even though the blue one's downtrend, we're on the upside of it. So, and the white one has crossed. What I'm looking at here is this is the previous 4-hour candle as drawn by the dashboard, and if it breaks this line, this has been a fairly significant support and resistance. I've got my fractal lines behind there. I've got my H1 resistance that could be broken as well. Any break of this whole area here is going to say to me that we're in for a move long wise, and I'll be looking to enter a trade on a break of this area, even though we haven't had the exact amount of movement that we'd like to see for the day. But what I am seeing is that I've got all green on my THV, M5 and M1. Let's just have a quick sneaky peek at that. So daily pivots for the new day haven't drawn yet because Hong Kong hasn't opened, so things could change as soon as Hong Kong opens quite a bit with our pivots. But what I am seeing is that price is certainly, the rules are made on my M5 chart here. Let's just have a look at my M15 chart. You know, if I disregard this pivot, this resistance line, because the new pivots will be drawn in about 20 minutes, we're probably looking quite good. We're above the coral, above the cloud on the M15, and look at the fast tricks is just coming up to cross the slow tricks, and it's going to be above zero. So optimum trading conditions to get the M15 rules up and going. The M5 rules, well, clearly price is above coral and cloud, and we do have our conditions for trading that on the tricks conditions. And if we go to M1, we certainly have seen quite a nice move up here, and we've got everything happening here, but we just got a little bit of divergence happening right now. So if I just draw a couple of lines here to show that to you, we're making higher highs on price action, but if I go down to straight down below there, we're actually looking like we're going to make a lower low on price action. So we're getting close to a trade occurring, but that divergence says, hey, hold off just a little bit longer and wait for this to develop. So go back to the analysis chart, and like I said, we're waiting to see a break of this whole area here. So there's my heads up on it. I've got stochastics pointing in a nice slope here as well. Things are looking good. Just the only rule that could be broken here is the number of pips for the day, and then we'll be into it. So when the daily pivots get drawn, I usually see quite a significant move on Hong Kong open, so that's the dashboard gives us a heads up on that. So let's just see what happens there and take a trade if it eventuates. See how price has kind of broken the 1 hour previous candle, and that acts as a really good point of support and resistance, and we've created a good doji here right now, signifying that, look, the market is hesitating as to what to do right around this point. So it could go either way, but if it closes above this line and we get an open and it starts going this way, it's a good sign for us. THV rules, everything will be set up and ready to go, and particularly on a break of this line, that'll be pretty fantastic. Okay, so we've seen a break of this H4 high line now, and what you could do is wait for price to retrace back to here, or you could be in by now, remembering that we haven't quite got the right number of pips for the day yet, but look, it was such a good setup that we really needed to consider entering into this trade, and I got my fractal kind of break there on the H1 resistance, which is the thing that you would have got an alert on, showing that it broke the previous resistance line. So now we're going to just be managing the trade. Right now I've just put enough in so that I've got a little bit of my equity in there, and I'll put a stop down at 127.58. So I'm looking at the bottom of the daily range there, giving me about a what would it be? I'm in at 85, so I'm probably about a 58 to 85. Look, we're about 23, 27 pips stop loss, which is quite appropriate on the M15 time frame. And now, as you can see, all the rules on the THV are now made, M15 through M1. We've got a significant break here, which is great. We'll probably get a retracement here, but we've got a stop protecting us. Probably going to bring my stop up to break even now. I'm 15 pips in profit. So let's consider that. She's skyrocketing away. We're looking all good there. In fact, I'm going to consider taking this trade out now very shortly. We hit the 128, and let's see what happens. And as we look at the M1 chart, that divergence that we had right here, you can see that price has made a higher high now. Sometimes divergence doesn't kind of kill you off. If we had had a turn at this point, the divergence would have been correct for a move, but we got a substantial move higher. We're now on overbought on the M1, so we've got to consider that. Let's go and have a look at our M5 and see what's going on. I'm just going to take off my divergence line. Got a good move. M5 is going into overbought. Let's have a look at M15. We've got the crossover of the fast tricks with slow tricks. Broken through the resistance point from yesterday. I'm waiting for the new pivots to be drawn in approximately 10 minutes time, and we'll see where that leaves us. So going back to the trade, whoops, wrong screen, something I'm programming for someone else at the moment. Okay, so we're getting a bit of a retracement there. It's going to play around at that 128. We could kind of take profit and try and re-enter here, but I want to make sure I get the most out of this trade, so let's just see where it goes. Okay, we'll come back to it in a sec. Okay, I've now moved my stop up to break even, which is 127.85. There is potential that it will move back to this SR line that you can just barely see, the H1 resistance line we broke through, which is the 127.80. In that case, I'm going to get stopped out just above that, but not worried, because if it does stop me out, I can take another entry, maybe a better entry. My target is really the H4 resistance line, which is auto-generated by the dashboard. So my target right now, I've set my take profit at 128.12. So as soon as price kind of hits that, we're in. So let's just see how that pans out. We've got to also take into account your spread. My spread at the moment is 2.2 on the euro yen. So really, what we need to do to take profit is it's a sell order to take profit. So we need to add on 2 pips and make sure that when price hits that as a sell order, it's kind of gone up and then come down and hit it. So let's just make sure we've got all that calculated correctly. And as you can see, price hit my take profit, and I'm out for about 23, 24 pips, which is fantastic.